When we think of firefighting, we most often think of the brave boots on the ground, heading into burning buildings or perilous terrain to save lives and extinguish flames. But for the biggest blazes, the ones that threaten entire communities and swaths of land, help has to come from the air as well. But the U.S. Forest Service says they just don't have enough planes to do the job, and the ones they do have are relics from the time of the Korean War. ABC's Brian Ross investigates.
It has been a decade of unrelenting wildfires in a vicious cycle of drought. Millions of acres burned, thousands of homes destroyed, some 200 firefighters dead.
This has been ongoing for about the last 10 years, but each year it seems to get worse and worse.
With the fire now raging north of San Francisco and the fire that went through Yosemite 2 weeks ago, this year may become the worst of all, according to the federal official in charge of fighting the fires, Chief Tom Tidwell of the United States Forest Service.
And we're having just tremendous problems being able to control, being able to suppress the fires we're having this year.
And for the firefighters on the ground, including the so-called smoke jumpers and hotshots,
there he is.
The ability to call in reinforcements from the air has never been more critical. Yet an ABC News investigation has found that even as the number of fires has dramatically increased over the last decade, officials in Washington have allowed the fleet of large firefighting tankers to shrink dramatically by 75% from the 44 planes available just 10 years ago, a move that firefighting officials say has put lives at risk.
How many air tankers do you have available on any given day? Right now?
11 today.
But now you have a lot more fires.
We do have more fires.
A drought cycle
yes.
that is unrelenting.
Yes.
Is that really enough?
11 is not enough.
The impact of the diminished fleet and the value of those aircraft was clear in one of this year's big fires, the Mountain Ridge Fire near Palm Springs, California. The fire's been burning now for more than 24 hours. Some 10,000 acres have been scorched. It's one of the biggest fires in this area in 30 years. So both state and federal firefighting aircraft have been brought in to fight the fire. Helicopters are dumping water directly on the fire. And big aircraft tankers are dropping fire retardants, that orange material that sets up a line to stop the fire in its tracks.
Come on down and go live.
It's like a military combat operation. Spotter planes overhead identify the target, the hot spots.
Yeah, it's real smoky, you'll notice.
And then they guide in the air tankers, flying low through smoke and rough terrain to drop the load of fire retardant chemicals and set up a kind of no-burn zone.
The more of that we can get dropped with those ground crews or dozers coming below is going to make the difference in us getting that perimeter line contained.
The planes hitting the Mountain Ridge Fire were flying out of a nearby airbase, where we saw firsthand another huge problem. Of the few planes still flying, some of the aircraft are 50 years old or older, military submarine chasers going back to the Korean War, like museum pieces still on active duty. But it's no secret to the U.S. Forest Service, which has been on notice since this 2002 report and 8 others after it, that its big aircraft tankers were badly aging and should be replaced.
The first report on the need to upgrade the fleet was in 2002. This is 2013. You still don't have the new planes. What's been going on for the last 11 years?
Well, we've been moving forward with using the aircraft that we had.
And in some cases, that has led to more tragedy. Here, the wings of one aged firefighting plane literally tore off in flight. Last year, 2 more firefighting planes crashed. As a safety precaution, more aircraft have been grounded, but were never replaced on a permanent basis. The chief of the California Wildfire Forces wrote to Chief Tidwell at the Forest Service last year, saying the diminished fleet risks large fires that threaten lives and natural resources.
Do you accept that?
That's why we've moved forward to acquire additional aircraft.
In our interview, Chief Tidwell told us much the same thing 54 different times, that the Forest Service was moving forward.
We are moving forward, moving forward.
Tidwell said the Forest Service can also use military cargo planes when needed and blamed the federal contracting process. But he would not answer why it has taken so long, more than a decade, to replenish the depleted air fleet of big tankers.
How much time do you need? 11 years is not enough?
We're moving forward with the next generation. We already have some of those planes on. We're going to have the rest of them on. We have 2 of them flying today.
A handful at most, it turns out, and still nowhere near enough, according to state firefighting officials in states most prone to wildfires, including those in Arizona, who could not get the air tankers they wanted on the day 19 hotshot firefighters died in the town of Yarnell this summer.
There were 6 air tankers ordered. Air tankers are a rare commodity in today's fire world.
So you ordered 6 and you got none.
We got 1 committed, but he didn't get here.
That was one of the Korean War vintage planes, like this one, which had engine problems and had to return to its base in California. So there were no large air tankers en route when the Yarnell fire took off as the winds changed direction and increased in speed.
We got situations changing. We got some folks in trouble. I don't know where they're at yet. Just stand by.
The 19 hotshots were trapped as the flames raced toward them, with nothing in the fire's way. The badly burned bodies were discovered a short time later.
Advise him I have 19 confirmed fatalities.
Chief Darrell Willis says he still wonders, although it's not precisely clear, if the men would have survived had any of the requested large air tankers made it to the fire.
It may have bought them 5 minutes. It may have bought them 10 minutes to get to a little safer place than where they were.
Could that have made a difference?
10 minutes could have, absolutely. If they'd had 10 more minutes, they could have made it. That crew was totally fit. There's no question in my mind that they would have made it.
The final investigative report on the Yarnell fire is still being worked on by officials. And U.S. Forest Service Chief Tidwell says no one may ever know if the tankers would have made a difference.
On any given day, when we get hundreds of fires started on any given day, we will never have enough aircraft for every single fire. So there always has to be priorities set.
If you had a bigger fleet, it wouldn't be as difficult, I take it.
We'd be able to respond to more requests.
But Yarnell did not become a priority until after the firefighters died. And there simply were not enough air tankers to spare before that in the fleet that officials in Washington have allowed to shrink to 1/4 its size over the last 10 years.
So what you had a decade ago, you don't have today.
That's correct.
How urgent is that need, would you say?
If you talk to firefighters on the ground, it's extreme. We need them now.
The U.S. Forest Service says it has a plan for a brand new fleet of firefighting aircraft, but that neither the Bush nor the Obama administrations nor Congress would come up with the money for what firefighters in the field say is this extremely urgent need.